Hey guys, what's going on? It's fast cars, fast money. Just doing a quick video. This is a little bit different than what we normally do. Normally we record the videos Thursday night. We kind of have a good idea of where everyone's qualifying and where they're starting, and we kind of know who's a good play and who might not be a good play. But this week's a little bit different. NASCAR is going to a brand new track, Circuit of the Americas, out in Austin, Texas, and they're finally bringing back practice and qualifying, which makes NASCAR DFS a little bit different from a logistics standpoint as far as being able to get our thoughts out there in kind of a timely manner. So if you're not aware, they're going to be practicing basically the day before the race and then qualifying usually a handful of hours on race day. So it's going to be really difficult to record a video, finalize our thoughts, record that and then put that out there for you guys to digest it and, have enough time for you to also make your lines. We'll try to do that. But just know if you're looking for kind of our final thoughts are going to be over on Twitter. It's going to be at FastCarsFM. We'll have all of our spreadsheets like we normally do. You can see all of our interest levels for all the drivers, our reasonings behind why we like all those guys. But wanted to at least put this video out there as kind of, some initial thoughts, at least that, we are taking going into this weekend. So if you look at the length of each race, the Cup race is 68 laps, the Xfinity race is 46 laps, and the truck race is 41 laps. So what does that tell me? It tells me a couple of things. One, there's not really that many dominator points available. If you lead, 6-7 laps, it's not really that many points in the grand scheme of things. Even if you lead, 10 laps and then you finish 20th, like it's probably not going to be a good DFS day. So for me, I want to focus more on after they qualify. I want to look at, okay, who is maybe a good place differential play or who has good finishing potential. Because if I can build a line where all of my drivers finish top 15, top 12, I mean, maybe even top 10, depending on, where some of these guys are starting and how pricing looks and how they do in practice, that's kind of what I am going to want to build around. If you go with the mindset of I'm going to try to stack as many dominators in my line as possible, it could work out if they all finish well, but if one of them has an issue or gets into trouble, it's really going to hurt your line. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing there. And then as far as like, what do we look at for who's going to be good, who isn't going to be good? Like normally they just show up and race. Well, at least that's what they've been doing recently, but this time they actually have practice. It's not a ton of practice, but it's enough for people to at least give, the crew chief some feedback and make some adjustments before they drop the green flag. So there's kind of a couple things I'd look at. I would look at previous road course history, mainly. I would say the Daytona road course earlier this year, look at who ran well there. But really, you really just want to look at practice. You want to dive into the lap by lap data. You want to listen, you want to try to record that practice session or watch the broadcast, listen to what the drivers are saying, listen to what the broadcast is saying, see who advances onto that final round of qualifying too, once they have, qualifying the morning of. Like, you want to be paying attention to those things and kind of see, what's being said about, oh, this guy says, his turn in is really bad or his drive off is really good. Like, whatever it is, you want to kind of be paying attention to practice. Normally we've been building lines, at least I have, maybe a day in advance or maybe the morning of the race, but this time's could be a little bit difficult just because we have qualifying usually like 2 to 3 hours before the race. So it doesn't really give you a lot of time. So I would try to say after practice, maybe have a good idea of like, hey, these are the 20 guys I'm looking to play, or, the 15 of them, or, whatever it might be. And then just kind of use qualifying to kind of narrow down your thoughts there. But take advantage of pricing this week. I mean, Draftkings is just pricing everybody before, they have any. No one's been here before in a Cup car or a truck or an Xfinity car. So they're they're not really sure what to expect. They just kind of guessed on pricing, but see who runs well in practice, see who's running well in qualifying, and who might be mispriced. Either, hey, this guy's way too expensive and he looks terrible, or wow, this guy's really underpriced and he's running really well. Like, take advantage of that and give yourself, some salary relief, or um, maybe find some good value plays in that way. But another thing too, I'm not sure if you guys have looked, but if you looked at the forecast for the weekend down there, it's supposed to rain like all weekend. So road courses are one time where they can actually run rain tires. So as long as it's not like a torrential downpour, like the Charlotte Roval, I think it was Charlotte Roval, the Xfinity race, or maybe that was the Daytona road course. I don't know. There was one race where it was just like a flood and they basically just made the cars keep going. It was a mess. So I don't think they're going to do that again. But if it is raining and if they're still able to race, I would say the road course ringers, the guys that are used to running in the rain, should probably have an advantage that kind of narrows the field down a little bit too. It's kind of like rain is almost like the equalizer in equipment, just because drivers are going a lot slower. You can't maintain the same pace, and it really comes down to driver skill. And if a driver has more experience driving in the rain than maybe a veteran, cup driver, like those road course ringers should overperform if it is raining. Now, it's hard to predict if that's actually going to happen or not, but if you look at the forecast, there's a lot of rain in the forecast. So just kind of keep that in mind. Other thing too, this track's really big. If it's like 3.4, 3.5, 3.6 miles in length, something like that. So the cars are going to get really spread out after the first initial restart and after the caution or the competition cautions. And unless there's really like a big accident or a race car laying down fluid, the race should probably stay pretty green. Like, you'll probably see drivers go off the course, spin out, but they should be able to get it refired and get going. If they can't get it refired, that would probably bring out a caution. Or if there's debris like right on the main line, that'll probably bring out a caution too. But unless there's like a big wreck, I would imagine that they're going to keep the race green for the most part. It's also interesting. Not everyone's going to be making the race. We have, especially for I think for the trucks and Xfinity, I think everyone for Cup's going to make the race. But we have more guys showing up than are going to be able to take the green flag. So some people are going to be going home. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's just another reason why you don't want to build your lines until after qualifying, because maybe you'll pick a guy that doesn't even make the race. Other thing is, there's a lot of drivers that are either buying a ride to get some more experience, or basically got called on to get a good points day because their current driver isn't doing too hot. And once NASCAR goes back to setting the grid by the formula, if these teams aren't high enough in the points, they're not going to make the race. So, look for those teams to run well. People that are buying a ride aren't going to, start and park. They're not just going to be out there riding in the back. Like, they're here to learn, they're here to run. And if they were called on to get in that car, like, you better believe they're going to be going as hard as they can and trying to get the best points day possible to help that team out. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I know that's not too, in depth, and we're not really diving into each individual slate, looking at a driver by driver basis, but those thoughts are coming. Whether or not we'll be able to get videos out to you guys, I'm not sure. We're really going to try our best. But if we don't, regardless, our final thoughts are going to be over on Twitter. So like I said, hop over there. It's at FastCarsFM. But yeah, it's going to do it for COTA. I know it's a little bit different than normal, but hopefully having practice and qualifying will really help us out this weekend.